Let's stay in the Pacific Northwest. How about, huh? Let's go Oregon Ducks hosting the USC Trojans. Just uniform helmet game, just awesome. The point spread is awfully large for me. I saw this number and they're begging you to take USC. That what Vegas is telling me, because Oregon is clearly the better football team. They've got the defense. They're at home. USC hasn't stopped air, and Oregon's pretty damn good on offense. Like Bucky Irvin's going to break 400 tackles in this game. But that number is fascinating to me, and it makes me like I want to take Oregon with that point spread because what Vegas is telling us, Steven, is that they think that the wheels are falling off here for USC. Like this is headed in a really bad and ugly direction, and they're saying almost like 3-score game is the point spread for a USC offense. That is a large statement about where Vegas thinks USC is heading right now.
It does seem a little high for me on first glance. Like 15.5, I was like kind of surprised. Like I thought maybe it'd be closer to 10, maybe like 8 or 10.
It should be the Washington-Utah score.
Yeah.
Like it looks the same to me.
I do think if, to your point on the season for USC, they're now out of the playoff mix for sure. They were before the game against Washington. It's going to be hard to get into the Pac-12 championship game now with losses to Washington and Utah. And certainly if they lose here, their season has spiraled, and you worry about teams, especially as we get to November when the losses pile up. Can they stay focused to finish the deal here? And I think that's a real concern for USC, especially we talked about their defense. I mean, interim defensive coordinator, whether it's Brian Odom, whether it's Shaun, whoever it is, the task to get this defense to be ready for Oregon is monumental. I mean, Oregon, from a success rate offensively is number 1 in the country offensively. They can hurt you with the big plays with Nix and Franklin. They can throw the short stuff to run long. They have Bucky Irving. They have Bo Nix on the. I mean, you name it. They haven't given up many sacks this year. This offense is it's dynamic. And, when you look at their third down conversions too, I mean, they're converting 55% of their third downs too. And it's hard to find a flaw with this offense. And so the annihilation that Washington did on USC's defense, that everybody has, it's probably coming here for USC's defense against Oregon. So I was surprised by the spread, but I think once you dive into the matchup, you can easily see how this is problematic for USC.
It's almost as if Oregon is a really, really, really good football team. I will say this. I'm curious what the defensive change means, because like sometimes you see interim coaches take over and all of a sudden the team rallies around the new coach and the new voice, and sometimes that's a positive. It's not all that far-fetched though about the Pac-12 championship game. So especially according to Lincoln Riley, there's still a lot to play for. But if they beat Oregon, that gives Oregon a second loss. They'd have a tiebreaker. And if Washington beats Utah, you could see USC sliding right into that slot there at number 2, but they're going to have to win this game outright, finish the rest of the season undefeated. And of course, Utah has to lose, but that Utah's a 10-point underdog, and we just both picked Washington. So it's not out of the question that they still have something to play for.
It feels like USC is reduced to playing spoiler at this rate.
Yeah.
And yes, there are the outside hopes of getting in the Pac-12 championship game. But I think on our point about the spread, I do think USC is going to get some points. Like they're going to get theirs offensively. It's just that you saw it last week. There was a turnover. Washington had that kind of edge in the middle of the game, and it was just too much because USC can't get stops. Now, USC may be able to simplify some things defensively. Maybe there's some new energy. We saw the Alex Grinch trying to break the huddle, and no one broke the huddle down with him. They just kind of ignored him.
So awkward.
So maybe some new leadership there will help. But again, I mean, this, whether it's defensively, the physicality of Oregon, the offense, they're, like you said, they're really good. And it's just hard for me to see USC being able to get enough stops in Eugene to win this game.
Are you laying the 16?
I would take Oregon to win and probably USC to cover, but I don't feel great about it. The cover part, I don't feel great about.
No, I know.
The back door might be wide open there at the end. So
there's going to be a lot of Oregon Ducks wide open.
Yeah, sure.
There's no question about that.